and good morning. I'm going to do a couple things this morning. I'm going to talk about the new clinical trials group known as Energy Oncology, position that with respect to RTOG as well as to some of the new initiatives in the National Cancer Institute. So welcome to Energy Oncology, and also welcome to the National Clinical Trials Network of the National Cancer Institute. So the fundamental question is, why should taxpayers pay for cancer research rather than let industry do it? And the private sector has little incentive to compare treatment options which are already approved for use, or to look at therapies that might come from different sponsors, and to test modalities like radiation oncology, surgery, or imaging approaches to cancer, and also develop therapies for rare diseases or study screening and prevention. Back in 2010, the Institute of Medicine was asked by the National Cancer Institute to look at the National Clinical Trial System and come up with a new model. And basically, they concluded that declining funding, inefficient processes, government oversight, lack of resources, kept the cooperative groups, and that includes RTOG, Akron, and others, from their ability to translate research discoveries into timely clinical applications. And based on that, they set up a proposal for a new system. Three of the details of the goals were to improve the means of prioritization, selection, supportive trials. They suggested that NCI's role be reevaluated, and that the accrual, volume, diversity, and speed of trials be improved, and that funding be improved. So this was actually the timeline for change, which has occurred over the last 4 years. Leaders of Akron and RTOG and ACR have been very involved with this. And you can see that we really have finally come to the end game, where now at this time in March of 2014, the new system has actually been rolled out. And I'm sorry this can't be read, but the point on this I want to emphasize is until 2 months ago, there were 10 funded cooperative groups. Now there are 5. So in order for that to happen, there was a number of musical chair exercises, and RTOG agreed to come together with 2 other acronym groups, NSABP, which has done breast and colorectal trials, GOG, which has been the lead group in the world doing gynecologic oncology trials. And we came together, and here was the consummation of the event. And Phil Desai is the fellow on the left, Norman Walmart is the pretty bride in the middle, and that's me. Dr. Walmart made this slide, so I feel I'm comfortable showing it. And they've been the legacy leaders of the other groups. So at the wedding, we had these 3 kind of cumbersome acronyms. So we came together with what I refer to as a pseudo-acronym, but most importantly, it's pronounced Energy Oncology because of the great energy that we have. If you look at the history of our groups, over a 5-year period ending about 4 years ago, we enrolled a similar number of patients on trials. Actually, during the first 2 months of our existence, the RTOG side of the house has probably had about 2/3 of the enrollment. So these are the 5 groups that exist as of today, funded by the NCI to do multi-center cooperative group trials. Alliance merged 3 groups. The Children's Oncology Group brought several groups together about a decade ago. Akron is now part of a group known as ECOG Akron, where a group called ECOG came together with a group called Akron, so they call themselves ECOG Akron. SWOG did not merge, and I mentioned Energy. So some of the improvements that have come with this new network system are, we do have shorter protocol timelines enforced by NCI, which is a demanding but good thing. We have a central IRB, which reduces the regulatory processes at our institutions. We have some better software, both for clinical trials and our tumor banking. And I think we're working together quite well at this point. But some of the challenges have come is that over the past decade, The funding in numerical dollars has remained stable. When adjusted for cost of living has gone down. And because we have smaller and more specialized trials, the costs have gone up. And also, some of the money that used to go to the group operations is actually now going to the network sites, which really, I think, challenges our network capacity. So if you look at the blue bars in this figure, that's the absolute dollars or numerical dollars that have gone to groups over about a 12-year period. And in adjusted dollars, you can see it goes down. Again, difficult slide to see. The emphasis here was with the new network, the proposal was that there would be about $25 million more dollars for the network groups to make these things happen. But unfortunately, as of today, the $25 million additional dollars did not materialize. So we're left with a new system, more money going to the institutions, and therefore stable overall money, and therefore less money to the centers. Now, if you look at the heat map of accrual over the last decade in cooperative group trials, you can see that cancer patients are enrolled on trials where people live. You can see East Coast, West Coast, Great Lakes, the largest distributor. But if you look at the numbers on the bottom, you can see that there has been a bit of a decline in enrollment, but because of the funding issues, the NCI has actually said we actually have to cut our enrollment in 2014 from about 20,000 down to about 17,000. So let me talk specifically about energy oncology, because while we have a number of budget issues, we do have a number of exciting initiatives in the group that I want to share with you. And I also want to thank the American College of Radiology, who has been a great partner with RTOG for several decades, and now a great partner with energy oncology. So the disease sites that Energy has and will do trials in are these 7 sites. And arguably, 5 out of these 7 sites, we are the lead group in the world doing trials. And you can see the list here. If you look at the disease sites where most of the work will be done in conjunction with ACR, it's really about 4.5 of the 7 disease sites. So the organizational structure is a distributed structure under a new energy oncology foundation. But much of the work and the lead subcontracts is actually RTOG Foundation, American College of Radiology, but we also work in these other groups, and University of Pittsburgh is where our lead statistical center is. So we have several specific aims that really are the umbrella for all our trials. We seek to improve the lives of adult patients with localized and locally advanced cancers through the conduct of our trials. We also believe that we conduct practice-defining research for patients with the major gender-specific malignancies. That's breast cancer, gynecologic cancer, and prostate cancer, and also look at the common features among these diseases. And we also believe it's our responsibility to investigate new technologies. New technologies are approved. That doesn't mean they're better. That doesn't mean they're more cost-effective. And we believe we have an obligation to test these, and they're listed here. And we also think in order to do any of the first 3 specific aims, we have to have a broad translational science program so we understand the biomarker and biologic pathway-defined approaches to risk stratification, enrollment criteria, and treatment assignment is critical. And finally, the GOG has actually had a very good early phase drug development trial for women with gynecologic cancer, and we seek to expand that to the other areas. Here are some of the things that the legacy groups of energy oncology have done in recent years as it relates to improving the life with localized and locally advanced cancers. And I won't go through all the details other than to say one example is RTOG and NCI put out a clinical alert just 2 months ago showing that one of our trials is significantly important in patients with low-grade glioma as to change the pattern of care for such patients. The same is really true for every one of these. And here are some of the new initiatives we're doing to improve outcome for patients with localized or locally advanced cancers. As it relates to gynecologic breast and prostate cancer, the gender-defined malignancies, most patients enrolled in energy trials have these diagnoses, and you can see that this is something that is tremendously important, and we're really the group to do it. The R in RTOG, or the R in energy, is an acronym for the word radiation. We do believe that we're in a position to test innovative approaches on a multi-institutional level, and here are some examples. In biomarker-driven science, here are some recent examples of what we've done, including a New England Journal article just in the past few months looking at angiogenesis-driven therapy for patients with high-grade glioma. And again, here are some of the things that we need for infrastructure. We do have biorepositories at UCSF, Nationwide Children's in Columbus, Ohio, and in Pittsburgh. So I just want to finish by showing 2 slides on an aligned group with us known as the Imaging and Radiation Oncology Core, or IROC group. This is a part of the new NCTN. It's based in Philadelphia at the American College of Radiology office and has a distributed system, but the quality assurance and the criteria for accreditation for imaging and radiation oncology across all 5 network groups will be done by IROC. Thank you very much.